table is set. It is going to be the Houston Astros, a team that you've been high on all season, versus not the San Diego Padres. It will be the Philadelphia Phillies, as the Phillies happen to win in 5 games. The Astros only needed 4 for the third time, and the Astros World Series runs, they'll be facing a NL East foe. The last 2 times didn't really go too well for them. Do you think they'll have better luck against this Philadelphia Phillies team?
Well, the odds say that they'll have better luck against this Philadelphia Phillies team. The Astros are favored by, well, the largest amount since they lost to the Nationals in 2019 of any World Series team. So certainly the odds are ever in Houston's favor. There are 2 sides to take from this with Houston. One of them is the 2022 Astros specifically, and then one of them is the Astros at large in terms of what can only be evaluated at this point as the best dynasty in baseball since the 1990s New York Yankees. When you talk about the level of consistent 6 consecutive ALCS appearances, 4 World Series, obviously the 1 championship that will forever be put in dispute, and the fact that Houston switched leagues and stole the Yankees' birthrights to winning. Like, the Astros took everything that the Yankees had as their, I mean, that the Red Sox also did that, but basically took everything the Yankees had a right to and stole their dynasty over the last 6 years. But specifically for this year's Astros team, just totally overwhelming cast of characters. I mean, in the ALCS, it was a different group than the guys who did it in the DS. In the DS, it was Yordan Alvarez, it was Jeremy Pena, and then this time around, it was Kyle Tucker and big performances from Chas McCormick somehow as the guy who's just a fill-in for George Springer has over an 800 OPS against the Yankees. And obviously, the big pitching performances were the name of the game for Houston, from McCullers on down to Verlander. Houston has been remarkable this season in terms of their performances, and they coasted through the American League playoffs like I thought they would. I didn't think they'd go 7-0, but I did think that they would coast through the American League playoffs and reach this point.
Well, you can make a good argument that the Phillies almost seem to have coasted through the NL part of things. And you want to speak about dominant performances. Let's talk about that man, Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper has been insane this postseason. And we spoke about it. Again, we spoke about this about early July, late June, about dark horse World Series contenders. And the Philadelphia Phillies have just been on a roll ever since that point. God, just be Joe Girardi right now. Just be Joe Girardi after this run that the Philadelphia Phillies have made. Since taking over a 22-29 team, Rob Thomson has led this team to the World Series. And this is also a Phillies team that also was in a postseason drought. They hadn't won a series in about a decade. Yeah. To come into this playoff and not only knock off the Padres, but knock off the Braves, who were leading this division for a good chunk of the latter part of the year, it's an incredible run by this team. And I got to let go of like one of my preconceived notions about the Phillies is, can they pitch? Can they limit what the other team can do offensively? They showed that they can do that, which I think is something that I didn't give them enough credit for. Their rotation of Zach Wheeler and Noah, although Noah had a bad performance against the Padres in the NLCS, I think that he'll be able to rebound. I think they have enough pitching to get by. Now, they're going to another hitter-friendly park in Houston, so I don't think that this offense is going to be necessarily slowed. In fact, I think this is going to be a fun offensive series between both teams' lineups. I think we're going to see the best of them. It's just really going to come down to who can get stops, who can get the other team out. And you would say the edge would, of course, go to Houston in that respect because you got Verlander, you got Framber Valdez. You have guys that have been in postseason starts. Postseason experience, I think, is going to be another factor that kind of plays into this one. I think it's appropriate that the Astros are the favorites, but we always see that team of destiny. This is what's great about October baseball, right? Where legends are made. I'm seeing this Phillies team, and they just got a little bit of that magic, which would be unfortunate for the Astros because it's like, why does everyone have magic when we're just trying to win our second title in respectively 5 years?
Yeah, and I want to follow up because you mentioned Framber Valdez. Framber Valdez and Christian Javier combined for 12 1/3 innings of 0 runs against the Yankees. And they're like the 3rd and 4th best pitchers on the Astros because Houston just keeps making, like Zach Greinke leaves, they just find Jose Urquidy. Garrett Cole leaves, enter Lance McCullers and enter Christian Javier as stud pitchers because Houston's incredible. You brushed over something that I want to just touch on so that people realize just how historic of a postseason we're talking about here for Bryce Harper. In 3 playoff series, Bryce Harper is hitting .411. He has an on-base percentage of .444 thus far in the playoffs. OPS, he has a 1360 OPS. He has a 10-game hit streak, reached base in all 11 games that the Phillies have played so far in the playoffs. This is a ridiculously good stretch of baseball Bryce Harper is going on. And you can point to the game-winning home run in Game 5. You could point to the solo home run that put them over the edge in Game 1. You could point to the 2-run homer that broke my heart in Game 4 when the Padres had a 6-4 lead.
Those doubles were impactful. Those RBIs.
Yeah.
God, I haven't seen a postseason performance like this in a minute. And it's coming from a player that has been touted by Sports Illustrated since the age of 16. And Bryce has done nothing wrong in his career aside from being a little bit more outspoken. So to see him having this postseason is nothing short of remarkable. And I'm excited for it. And then you just look at what the Phillies were able to do in the offseason. You just appreciate those moves a little bit more to get a guy like Castellanos, to get Kyle Schwarber. Now those moves are so impactful in this postseason, and a big reason why they're there. So you got to give it up to the front office, and you got to give it up for the front office to be able to make that move at manager. That took balls to move off of Girardi, and no one could have saw this coming from them. Series prediction. We got to get into that point of this preview. How are you feeling about it?
Well, the Astros are heavy favorites, and it's also baseball, so baseball's random and chaotic. What's fascinating is that, like, the 5th starter on the Astros, I would have argued, is better than the 3rd starter on Philadelphia. And at the same time, Ranger Suarez has had this breakout postseason. 27-year-old from Venezuela who was a reliever for 3 years is all of a sudden the number 3 starter on Philly. And I know Philadelphia's had a bunch of like stars in the postseason, but it's Bryce Harper, it's Sacramento's own Rhys Hoskins. Rhys Hoskins actually grew up like 15 minutes that way from where I am right now. Just fun fact. So you have Bryce Harper, Rhys Hoskins, JT Realmuto, Kyle Schwarber. Those have been the guys who have stepped up. If you're looking for that unsung guy for Philadelphia, it's been Ranger Suarez. I'm going to take the probabilities on this one. I'm going to take the Astros to win in 6, which means that they would clinch the series on their home field. This feels like, I say this all the time in basketball when we're doing analysis, this feels like an Astros in 5.5 type of series, which is whether it's 5 or 6 games is semantics. The Astros will kind of cruise through most of the series would be the most probable situation. So I'll take the Astros in 6 and say that they will clinch the World Series on their home field for the first time in this dynastic run that Houston has been on over the last 6 to 8 years.
Not a dynasty until they win a second title. It's not going to happen this year. I'm going with the Philadelphia Phillies in 5 games. You know what? I'm going to go balls to the wall. This Philadelphia's team, they've been going balls to the wall all postseason, and I think it's going to continue into the World Series. They just got that vibe. They just got that feel. They just got that destiny in their mirror, and I think it's going to happen. I think that Bryce Harper is going to put himself amongst the elites of all time, but that may be a conversation for another video. Besides that, do you have any moratoriums for the Padres?
I am infinitely grateful for everything that has happened in this postseason. Beating the Dodgers gave me the emotional feel of what I assume a championship will feel like, and I have nothing but gratitude and praise for this incredible moment that the Padres have given me. And again, I know this sounds like a press conference. I am genuinely overwhelmed with the incredible season that the Padres had. The first in my lifetime. They had never won a home playoff game in my entire lifetime. 1998 was the last time that happened. So only great things that happened to the Padres, but at the same time, that Bryce Harper home run. That Bryce Harper home run just stung right in the heart. In the 8th inning, we had Josh Hader in the bullpen and didn't bring him in. That one stung, but that's the closest you're going to get to any sadness. I said going in, we're playing with house money. So nothing but love and praise for the San Diego hometown 619 San Diego Padres coming through with an incredible postseason run.
Hopefully Bob Melvin feels the same, and I'll also praise them because it means the Dodgers didn't make it to the World Series. They didn't even make it to the NLCS, and now I'll praise the Phillies for knocking out the Padres so I don't have to contemplate that out of the NL West rivalries. Anyway, guys, how are you feeling about the World Series? Who do you think is going to win? How many games? Astros, Phillies? We want to know your thoughts in the comment section. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on social media. From Kyle Ledbetter and Ju-Ju, stay safe, happy, and healthy, and we will see you on the next one.